Sama 阿弥陀佛，世界各地的莲花童子们，
All Pampakumaras from around the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Tashidali everyone. I'm the Master of Compare for today. I am Dharma Assistant Maya. I'm from Malaysia, Sabah. 本学雷藏寺 Now it's Singapore, Malaysian time, March 10th, Friday, and it's 7:53 p.m. and theater time it's 3 a.m. 3:53 a.m. in the morning. For Brazil time, it is morning 8 a.m. 8:53. For Indonesia, they are 6:53 p.m. So we are doing simultaneous translation on 3 channels. Today, I have to remind myself that because we have simultaneous translation, I have to remind myself to speak slower. So today is chapter 2, and lesson 1, chapter 2. Lesson 1, preparation for cultivation of chapter 2, detailed exposition of the complete Tantric sadhanas. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone. I've seen the Dharma Instructor Yichai, our translators, Amitabha, Tia Ija,
好，
Dharma Sister Rixian, Dharma Sister from Singapore, our Senior Reverend, Senior Reverend Nyanru, all Dharmas and brothers and sisters, auspicious greetings to you. It should be early morning, the wee mornings of the US. Thank you for joining us today. I've seen Dharma brother from Sydney, and I saw Dharma assistant Yue Hua from Singapore. I've seen a lecture, Master Lianyi, too, online. Amitabha, everyone welcome for entering the Zoom class. Welcome all Padma Kumaras joining the class tonight. Please turn on the video if it's possible and put in your Dharma name so that we can interact with one another. Thank you, everyone. We have about 5 minutes before the class starts.
我们的课程即将开始。一笑助教阿弥陀佛，你好。大家还记得上个星期莲益上师说到
Do you remember what Master Lianyi has said in the last during his last lesson? So all the Rinpoches in Tibet, they will recall the things they've done on the day, and they will recite the 100 word syllables to repent their mistakes. Did any of you follow this? Please key in one if you just recite the Vajrasattva mantra at the end of the day. Oh, someone has actually forgotten what Master Lianyi has said regarding chanting of the importance of chanting the Vajrasattva mantra at the end of the day.
思文助教好，敏轩师姐好，运双师姐吉祥。很多人打一，可明师姐也是一，明轩。
I've seen a lot of ones, so I'm sure a lot of them have listened to what Master Lianyi has said. So I saw someone who put 1 and 2. It means that one of you, sometimes you remember to recite the mantra and sometimes you forgot. So Lao Zhong Dharma brother said every second we must remember to repent. Thank you everyone for responding. So just a gentle reminder that every night before you sleep, remember what are the things that, remember you have, if you need the things you have done and that if you need to repent. So after the end of the class today, there will be sharing. So one of our key objectives for the class is to learn and then apply in practice. So prepare a pen and prepare a pencil and paper now so that you can take down the key points that Master is going to teach. And after the class, we will have a sharing session. So please raise your hand and say that you will share. So it's possible that we might just nominate someone to do a sharing, so you may be the lucky one. So Master Lianyi will be covering
难得的机会啊！我看到 YouTube 线上的同门也是有一些写1+2，应该是有时候想
saying that
也是有。
We've also seen that those on YouTube have responded also to my question regarding the Vajrasattva mantra. So you have forgotten before start today. I saw I've spotted Master Lian He, our Director of Education. So reverends, Dharma assistants, and all fellow disciples are all coming into the Zoom classroom. We are starting our class now. First, let's put our hands together and pay homage to our living Buddha, Root Guru, living Buddha, Linshen, and all past lineage gurus of the true Buddha school of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, and Dharma protectors of the sky. And may Root lineage master really light on the class tonight. And may the deliverance of the class be auspicious. Let's chant the Padma mantra 7 times. Om Guru Lianyi Siddhi Hum. 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 Amitabha, everyone. Welcome the Honorable Chairman Master Chen Chu. Welcome our lecturer for today, Master Lianyi, Education Director Master Lian He, PR Director Master Lian Jia, Master Lian Fei, and all masters, senior reverends, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, and all fellow disciples from all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Auspicious greetings to all. Welcome to today's class. Last week, Master Lianyi explained about the sequence of the true Buddha Tantra. And there were a few key points for last chapter, for the last lesson. So we have the outer, inner. So the foundational for entering Tantric is the Vajrasattva practice. So there's also the four foundational preliminaries, which is a great homage, the mandala offering, the mandala offering, the reciting the fourfold refuge mantra, and the cultivate the Vajrasava practice. And he also covered, Master Lianyi also covered about the fundamental roots in the Tantrayana. So today we are going to enter into lesson 1, chapter 2, which is the preparation of cultivation. So let's, without further ado, let's welcome our lecturer for today, Master Lianyi, to deliver this class tonight. Let's welcome Master Lianyi. Thank you, MC Mia. Again, let's pay homage to our lineage guru, living Buddha Lian Shenhuo. As the lineage gurus of the true Buddha schools, all Buddhas, Bodhisattva Mahasavas, and Dharma protectors for the shrine and the triple gem. And today, because it's the birthday of Avalokiteshvara, we pay homage to her too. The Honorable Chairman, Master Chen Chu, the Honorable Education Director, Master Lin He, and the Honorable PR Director, Master Lin Cha, Honorable Master Lin Fei, and Honorable everyone, all masters, senior reverends, Dharma Instructor, Dharma Assistant, fellow disciples, Amitabha. So time really flies by week. Today is the 5th time that I'm delivering lessons on the true Buddha Tantra. I remember that we started on 10th Feb, and now it's March 10. So it's exactly been 1 month since I started teaching. And over the past month, I feel that every day is very fulfilling. And there was once a story. And there was a US magazine who did an experiment on a busy street. They installed a blackboard that read, "Please write down the most regrettable thing in your life." And we are sure everyone has regrets. So a lot of people participated in this experiment. And do you know which was number 1 on the list? It was having wasted a lot of time. Life, I feel that time is very precious. But a lot of people think that money is more important, but I do feel that time is more precious and important. And I remember ex-US President Donald Trump. He has once said something which many agree to be his most sensible. Maybe the rest are not so. And what did he say? He said, if you have no money, you can earn them with time. But once your time is past, regardless of how much money you have, you can't buy back time. So I think it's really true. It's very sensible. So we must always cherish our time daily. Time is really very precious. I also remember a story about a millionaire who was 40 years old. He was diagnosed with cancer. And when he was seeking treatment at the hospital, he had a realization. And what he said, actually, as long as you have enough money to spend, that is good. And we should spend the remaining time to do something that is unrelated to money. Unrelated to money. So he had this realization. He should spend um, his remaining time to do things that are unrelated to money. So what are they? First, he mentioned caring for your family. Because this millionaire is very young to become a millionaire. You can imagine his hard work, but very often that they would have forgotten about to care for their family. Second, do something that you wanted to do when you did not have the time before. So think about what are the things that you really wanted to do, but which you feel you don't have the time. So maybe in terms of cultivation, a lot of people feel that say that maybe I have enough money when I'm less busy, then I can sit down and cultivate. Actually, time will not wait for you. A lot of things is not up under your control. So when you want to do something, especially something that is meaningful, you should execute them. So I actually know the father of a fellow disciple. He went to Vancouver. He was from Hong Kong. He went to Vancouver to run a business, and he made some money there. And all his kids are very filial. And one day, they told him, "Dad, now that you have some time, you should travel with mom, especially now that we are all grown up." But his father replied, "Sure, I will do that. But I have to wait until your youngest brother is married. Then I will travel with your mom." So after 2 years, his youngest son was married, and he intended to bring his wife for a trip. But all of a sudden, he was struck with a stroke and he became incapacitated. So he's not able to travel. And he said something: "Man proposes, but God disposes." So the reason for telling you the story is to hope that everyone understand one reason. Time is really precious, and we want to do something. Don't hesitate. Again, time doesn't return. Second, he also mentioned about having a faith. When he talked about having a faith, um, I think what he said is very true, is very good. So in our life, what is most important in our life is not something it's not something external that we should be pursuing, but more of a kind of spiritual lifestyle. I remember when I was once traveling in Tibet. If you have been to Tibet, you will see a very common sight, and it's very touching. You see, the temples, whether they are big or small, there will be many, many devotees, whether they are young or whether they are old. They will be doing great homage. You will also see that they will be circumambulating the temples and uh, having a sutra wheels in their hand as they circumambulate. And you will realize at that point in time that their life may be simple. Their food is very simple, just a kind of a rice, or a kind of flour, food made from flour. So their lives are very simple, but their soul are very rich. So I feel that this is a kind of life, spiritual lifestyle. So now we will enter into the lesson proper. So this is lesson 1, cultivation before preparation, exposition of the complete true Buddha Tantra. So I want to do a recap. So the 4 preliminaries as the foundation of Tantrayana. Please list one of the foundational preliminaries. I will just need one of the 4. I just need one of the 4. I'm sure everyone knows the answer. A lot of people have put the great homage, Mandara offering, reciting the fourfold refuge mantra, cultivated the virtuous practice. So second question, the 3 fundamental roots in Tantrayana are the guru, the personal deity, and the Dharma protector. So who is the root of attainment? A lot of people wrote guru, but some wrote personal deity. Well, the answer is personal deity. The personal deity is the root of the attainment. The guru is the root of blessing. Please list the 2 stages in true Buddha Tantra cultivation. The 2 stages in the true Buddha Tantra cultivation. What's the answer? Senior Reverend Lianyi has said the generation stage and the completion stage. That's right. Thank you, everyone. Let's enter into the lesson 1 of chapter 2. So Living Buddha Lianyi officially started his first Dharma teaching at Rainbow Villa, now known as Rainbow Temple, in the United States. So from 24th to 30th November 1992, he started to elaborate the sadhana of the true Buddha Tantric Dharma very clearly. So he wanted it to be elaborate and complete. It was hoped that in being elaborate and complete, there will be no omissions in the explanation of the true Buddha in the Tantric Dharma Sadhana. Furthermore, by conveying living Buddha's Lianyi own experience and peat from cultivation practices, entirely the masses can then understand and experience the same. Have you guys been to Rainbow Temple? You will know that it's really a feng shui treasure site. So when Grandmaster was looking for a site for the Rainbow Villa, it was because there was this huge rainbow in the sky which descended on this piece of land. So this master who brought Grandmaster to look for this piece of land, and that's where exactly Rainbow Villa is. That's where the rainbow landed. So Grandmaster feel that this is a very good, this is really a treasure site where the 7 stars have descended. So that's how Rainbow Villa was built, and Rainbow Villa is now Rainbow Temple. So you have not been to Rainbow Temple, you have to visit. So next, standardizing our cultivation practice. So at that time, True Buddha School had about 1.2 million disciples, and there were increasingly more. So if the same foundational tantric dharma was passed on, and even passed on 3 times, it will evolve along the way and become inconsistent. So I remember in the earlier days, we have many different versions of the sadhanas, which were written by the cultivation venues themselves. So there will be something added, something taken out. So they were very inconsistent. But now things have changed. So all sadhanas are standardized and printed by Jupiter Foundation. So I think it's much better this way with a standardized sadhana. So hence, living Buddha Lianshan passed down his entire Tantric Dharma accurately and carefully to allow our disciples to understand it clearly and cultivate accordingly to the Dharma so that everyone can receive good spiritual attainment and have good experiences. And eventually, of course, the most important is for everyone to become a Buddha. So a lot of disciples, when they were practicing the true Buddha Tantra, after a long period of diligence, you will have some responses and experiences. Well, again, there were some who, after cultivating for a long time, they did not feel anything at all. Why is that so? So don't be discouraged, everyone. I've already said before, no, things doesn't happen overnight. It's bit by bit, gradually, and time is our friend. So time is the best proof of all. Don't think too much. Just as long as it's meaningful, just do it. So whether you've experienced or not, I've mentioned the last time, the most important is when you cultivate is to transform your propensity to something all wholesome and to open up your heart and to increase your wisdom. And this is most precious in a cultivation. So that's a story about a Sangha who cultivated. Before a Sangha attained any accomplishment, he was in retreat in a mountain cave for 3 years. But he did not achieve any spiritual responses. So he gave up and he stopped cultivating. But on his way down from the mountains, he saw an old man who was pushing a huge rock with all his might. And Asanga thought, see how persistent the old man was. How can he give up just like this? So he went back to the cave again and did another 3-year retreat. But again, after 3 years, he did not have any spiritual response. He was really discouraged. So he gave up and went on his way down the mountains again. This time he saw an old woman who was trying to grind an iron rod into a needle. So imagine a rod to be grinded into a needle. How much determination, how much perseverance you will need in order to do so. So when he saw what the old lady was doing, again, he told himself, I cannot give up. So this time, he made a decision that he has to go into retreat for 6 years. So can anyone guess if he has attained spiritual response after 6 years? So all in all, he has been in retreat for 12 years. Yeah, he did not achieve any spiritual response after that 6 years. This time he lost faith completely. And again, when he went down the mountain this time, he saw a dog. This dog has a rotten body and he has maggots on the food. And when Sangha saw this, his compassion arose. He feels so sorry for the dog. He said, is there something I can do to help the dog? So he walked over and removed the maggots with his bare hands and bandaged the dog's wound with rags. And once he's done with that, the dog suddenly disappeared, and from the void, Mitra Bodhisattva appeared. So Wucho Asanga was practicing Wei Shi. So Maitreya Bodhisattva as the personal deity. And when he see Maitreya Bodhisattva, he was very touched and very happy. But again, he wanted to ask, and he asked Maitreya Bodhisattva, why, despite cultivating for 12 years, I wanted to see you, but I did not gain. And why did you only manifest now? And Maitreya Buddha say, you saw me because your bodhicitta arose. In fact, I never left you for a moment, but you did not discover that. And the very first time I was the old man pushing the big rock, you do not know it was me because you have doubts. And second time when I was the old lady, you cannot see me because of your karma. Again, you can't see me because of that. And the third time, I became a dog which was hurt. And my intention was to let your bodhicitta arose, and which will remove all hindrances. So the story has a few important points. So when you have doubts, it's when you practice Buddha Dharma, your faith is very important. You must have faith in the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas because we have said that faith is the source of all merits and Bodhisattva faith is the source of all merits and virtues. So the first one is your mind. So the second is you need to have perseverance. It's very important, just like Asanga. He persisted for 12 years. So it's actually blessing his 12 years of practice is actually a blessing by Jia Bodhisattva. So why in the process of a cultivation, perseverance is so important? But you don't know in your process of cultivation what you will meet, who you will meet. It is not possible to be smooth sailing in your lifetime. You will definitely have some hindrances and obstacles. So perseverance is very important in order to see your objective at the end of the day. So persevere. We persevere not because we see hope. We persevere. We persevere so that we can see hope. So it's all that's perseverance will allow us to see fruition at the end of the day. So another one will be bodhicitta. Having aspiring to have bodhicitta is to pray to achieve Buddhahood and to deliver sentient beings. So only when you help people, then your bodhicitta will arise. You will have compassion. When you have compassion, it's the heart of a Bodhisattva. So this is something in you. So I feel that bodhicitta is very, very important. So one more important point is, so why have the Bodhisattvas have never left us? So as long as you have Buddha in your heart, in your mind, there's Buddha, the Bodhisattvas will always be in your mind. And why we don't feel them? It's just, and why we don't feel that, it's just like what Maitreya Bodhisattva has said, because you have jobs, you have karma, you have your bodhicitta has not arisen completely. So there are some obstacles, hindrances which are blocking us. So removing our karma is very important. Okay, so you will move on to the next session. So the superior wisdom of the true Buddha Tantra, the Tantric Dharma is the ultimate truth in the universe. By cultivating according to the true Tantric Dharma, one will definitely be able to attain superior wisdom. So there are many important peaks within it which cannot be missing the sadhana. Although living Buddha Lianyi has once written the sadhana in his books completely, but again, many aspects cannot be written very clearly and using words. So a lot of disciples will learn based on the books. They misunderstood the sadhana and were prone to deviation. So with the lecture, it is hoped that all disciples can learn true tantric Dharma peace and pass down the entire set of sadhana experiences to fellow disciples. The true Buddha, when we are cultivating, um, Grandmaster has exposed the ultimate in Buddha Dharma is to seek wisdom. So wisdom to every one of us, it's very important because in the process, if you lack wisdom, so it helps you to judge with wisdom. You will understand the cause and effect. And the most important is we are someone who is reasonable and can see things clearly. So when you have wisdom, whether you're at the cultivation venue, when you're dealing with people, your your perspective will not be based on this is right, this is wrong. You will have a more fair perspective. So that's the reason why I feel that it is what Jim has said is true. The ultimate in Dharma is seeking wisdom. So let me tell you a story about the Zen Master Ming Yun. Zen Master Ming Yun has been cultivating for 30 years at Zhongnan Mountain. So he has this hobby. He likes to grow orchids because it helps him to practice meditation, um, helps him in his self cultivation. Him. It also helps to beautify the surroundings of the temple. So there was a one time he has to leave the temple to deal with some matters. And before he left, he told the disciples, please take good care of my orchids. I will be back later on. So his disciples carefully watered the plants, the orchids. So, so what happened when the disciple was watering the pots? And sometimes the more careful you are, you became callous. He dropped Zen Master Ming's favorite pots, his favorite orchids on the floor. He was very frightened and he did not know what to do. And he thought Master will be very upset when he sees this. But when Zen Master Ming returned, he reported the incident to his master. And after Zen Master Ming heard the incident, he didn't get angry. Instead, he told the disciple calmly. He said the reason for planting orchids, it's because I like orchids. It's for self-cultivation and also to beautify the surroundings of the temple, and not because of anger that they are planted. And he said it's not because I'm of anger that I grow the orchids. So what was he trying to teach? He said, as a cultivator, we should not hold on and be attached to the things you love because it's not the behavior of a cultivator. And the more you hold to things in the mundane world, what do you lose? You will lose what's in the sky. So what's its external? Just go with the flow. If it comes, cherish it. But if you don't force it. Money, is it important? Yes, it is important. It's a resource. If you don't have money, it's very difficult to do certain things. How do you do your pudicita career if you don't have money? But those with wisdom will know how to make use of the money. So if you can only use it in the mundane, if money can only be used in the mundane world, why do we think about how we could make use of this money wisely? How do we transform this into a resource that we can use in this supra-mundane um, um, realm? How can we transform this into a merit which will follow us after life? So if you have real wisdom, you will know how to use this money wisely for your bodhicitta career, and you will transform this into something that you could use in the supra-mundane realm. So one must always understand this. Today, you make an aspiration to help Dharma activities, to help with Dharma activities. What should your mindset, how should your mindset be when you serve at the cultivation venue? So they were always thinking about what is right, what is wrong. So that's the reason why there's a lot of relationship issues at the cultivation venue. I think it's a very good story. That's a very good story. Um, are you here? Are you here to serve the temple because we want to fight for certain things, or are you here to learn the Buddha Dharma? So we must learn the compassion of the Buddha Bodhisattva. So since you're at the temple to learn the compassion of a Buddha Bodhisattva, you must understand this logic. So everyone has their own thoughts and everyone has their own propensity. So when you have friction, you have to take a step back, think about people's good points, transform their bad points to good points. So think about Zen Master Miyun. He said, am I growing orchids because of anger? Or are we doing things because we want to accumulate merits? So wisdom is very, very important. So I've actually seen a lot on my end. So at the cultivation venues, because of the friction, so there was one time there were two groups of committee members, and because their ideas are different, so the other group of committee members bought an iron chain and lock up the gate of the cultivation venue and didn't allow the other group of committee members to enter the cultivation venue. Can you think what will the other group think? So the other group bought another iron chain and lock up the gate, meaning both sides can't enter the cultivation venues at all. So at the end of the day, it didn't benefit either party. So when we are at the temple, we must accommodate each other. But if you're trying to create, don't make things difficult for one another, encourage one another and try to oblige one another so that, so this is very important. So there's another story which I will share next time. So now we're going to talk about the preparation before cultivation practice. So at the beginning of each cultivation practice, one needs to purify your body. This is a form of preparation before cultivation practice. So many people know that you have to take a bath or fast before cultivation practices. You take a bath, this is to reflect your intent to clean your body. And what about fasting? This is to consume clean, light food. So I've read the Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi who spoke about Xing Zhai, which is fasting of the mind. So Xing Zhai or fasting of the mind means to get rid of distracting thoughts in the mind so that the state of mind can be pure and focused. So this is so before cultivation, we should we should we should really leave. We should get rid of these distracting thoughts because um, even if said even if we didn't get rid of them when we sit down for cultivation, they will still be running in our minds. Let's get rid of these distracting thoughts before reset them to zero before we cultivate. So during cultivation practice, one should not. So during cultivation practice, one should not be too full, should not be too hungry. So the best time to practice is when you're not too hungry. So in addition, you have to rinse your mouth or brush your teeth before each cultivation practice, but preferably a bath. So taking a bath also involves washing your hand, and that is to purify your body. So you should also consume clean, light food. It's a part of fasting. This is to perform some purification of the body, mind, and speech. I'm sure everyone understands this. Don't have a full stomach or be too hungry when you before your practice and brush your teeth, rinse your mouth before you practice. So there are times when we are tired, and if you feel very tired before your cultivation, especially after work, you should lie down for 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes, lie down to rest for a little while. And after that short rest and you start cultivating again, you feel that you will be more focused. Because when someone is tired, we will feel very lethargic. So what is the right mindset when entering the shrine? So when entering the shrine, one has to maintain solemn silence, which is to be very, very quiet. And one should relax body and mind. But it's not, relaxation doesn't mean to be ready for sleep after entering the shrine, but it's more towards loosening oneself physically and mentally. This is very important. So what is the wrong mindset when entering the shrine? Like you are running outside or jogging, you came back panting very furiously, and you enter the shrine for cultivation practice. In this condition, your mind will not be able to calm down. Or if you just had a big quarrel with your family and you're raging with anger, you will not be able to attain peace by entering the shrine at the time for a cultivation practice. And I'm sure a lot of lay practitioners with family, this is something they always face. So especially between husband and wife, you will bicker. So I remember there was this fellow disciple who shared this with me. There was a couple who always quarrel over minor matters. And one day the husband came to the temple to look for me and shared his problem. he said, how can I go through this in life? And he asked me if there is a solution to his problem. Do we have a solution to change this? I told him yes. But I taught him a method. And what was the method? I said, when you return home the next time you quarrel, do not say anything. Just put your palms together and recite Amitabha. And if she continues, you put your palms together again and recite Amitabha. Again, don't retort. And guess what? And guess what? When he next got into the same situation, he just recite Amitabha. And this resolved the problems after years of bickering. In fact, the reason is very easy to understand. You know, it takes two hands to clap when you get into an argument. So if one party keeps silent, nothing will happen. So don't think lightly of the phrase Amitabha. If you use it during the appropriate time, it will really help you to solve a problem and a hindrance. So when we're reciting the mantra and the sutra, we are actually accumulating our merits. So when you need to use it, use this merits, maybe one word will solve all your problems. You know, so there was a sort of story about a couple. They always quarrel. Why must I share this? So these are problems that husband and wife will meet. So because the couple always quarrel, so the husband bought a calligraphy back home. So after he has brought the calligraphy, life suddenly becomes very calm and peaceful. So can anyone guess what's so who can guess what this calligraphy is about? Oh, it reads the wife is in Chinese says hai tai pa wo. It means the wife is afraid of me, but when you read it backwards, it says 我怕太太, which means I'm afraid of the wife. So if that's been the case, we just have to give in to each other, because if you read either ways, it means that the couples are giving in to each other. Two ways of reading from left to right or right to left, but the meaning transformed into something different. Or when you hear a piece of bad news and feel very vexed, it is very difficult to attain spiritual union if he or she enters a strive for a cultivation practice. So a fellow disciple ever asked GM during a spiritual cultivation, what is most important for a lay practitioner in his cultivation? Grandmaster gave forwards, which is a peaceful and stable life. Peaceful and stable life. Why is it so important? So only when your life is peaceful and stable, you will be able to let go a lot of external affinities and could sit down to cultivate properly as a lay cultivation. But if you're always working so hard outside, just like 7-Eleven, which means 24/7, which means you work from 7, which 7-Eleven means working starting from 7 and work until 11 p.m. in the night. So it's not a stable life. So you must have you have to adjust your lifestyle. So what Grandmaster has written, a peaceful and stable life, it's very applicable to lay cultivators. And that is to say, when entering the shrine, not only should your body be purified, your thoughts should be as calm as the water. So a lake is very calm as a mirror when it's not disturbed by winds. And when you have a mindset like this, it's very easy to attain spiritual union. When you're raging with anger or you're troubled, it is very difficult to practice. So when you have a relaxed body and mind and have nothing distracting you, I'm going to tell another story again. I think this is a very good story too. So there's a drawing competition in Europe. And what is the theme? The theme is a calm heart. So there were many enthusiastic participants and many drawings. So after careful selection by the judges, only two drawings made it to the final. They were both very outstanding, and it was very difficult to decide um, on a winner. So the first painting depicts a natural environment with beautiful mountains, rivers, singing birds, and fragrant flowers. So there's sunshine and blue skies to represent a calm mind, a calm heart. So the second painting, what was it? It's a sky covered with dark clouds, and there's lightning and thunder too. But in the lower left corner of this painting, there's a tree with a bird's nest, and you have small little birds sitting quietly in it. This is to represent, so this is a representation of a compound. So can you guess who become the winner? I'm sure everyone has wisdom. You'll be able to guess straight away. So in the end, the second painting won. Why? Why do you think the second painting won? So although both paintings are very outstanding, in terms of the artistic conception, it's the second painting is more connotative because the bird can sit quietly in a harsh environment, showing that it is not affected by external influences. So I'm using this example as an analogy to our daily cultivation. So in cultivation, when we have a calm heart, we are able to have a calm heart, have Dharma joy when we cultivate. When we have no problems, when we cultivate, we have no problems. We're able to have a calm heart and have Dharma joy. But what if you met with some challenges and obstacles? How will your heart be? How will your mind be? Are you still able to maintain a calm heart? So this second painting actually give an inspiration uh, about when you are faced with um, challenges, how do you maintain a, a natural mindset? So of course, when we are in a good situation, we can remain calm. But when we're in a bad situation, it is even more important to maintain that calmness. So that would be quite an achievement. now we're going to do our Q&A.
好，我先分
Round
享。
one. Dharma sister Lianyi will share her screen. So can you see the screen? So same thing, it's the same like previous lessons. I put in the chat box the links for the 3 languages. But if you're entering from Mentimeter, you have to log in using the codes indicated on the PowerPoint. So we give you a minute to enter into this game. So is everyone ready? So who shall be the winner today? So question 1. So when did living Buddha Lianyi elaborate on the true Buddha Tantra sadhana? A, 1992, B, 1892, or C, 1792? Lock in your answers now. Voted. Oh, wow. The right answer is A. It looks like everyone got the right answer. So question 2, how should one prepare oneself before cultivation? A, be active and warm up by going for a jog. B, be in good spirits by eating and drinking enough. C, be free from distractions and relax your body and mind. Answer is C. Wow, everyone has gotten the right answer. So who will be the winner from this round 1? Dharma sister Zhi. So we ended round 1 of the Q&A. So let me return the stage to Master Lianyi. So now we start with talking about beginning before cultivation practice. So at the point of entering the Tantric strength for cultivation practice, you should clap your hands before you start. So clapping is a wake-up call to indicate that you are about to commence the cultivation practice. This clapping also represents the practitioner inviting all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the shrine and void to pay attention to them. As the practice is about to commence. I'm sure everyone knows this. So there's also another meaning to the wake-up call as to displease. So when one is done with the cultivation practice and about to leave the shrine or seat, one should similarly clap his or her hand to tell them that I'm living. This indicates the completion of one's cultivation practice, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can rest and dismiss. So this is both the start and end of the cultivation. You do the wake up, you clap your hands. So there is also the crossing of the hands and snapping of the thumbs and middle fingers. After clapping hands, you cross the hands and snap the finger. The act of crossing your hands and snapping as well as clapping hands have the exact same meanings. So in Tantric Dharma, there are numerous very odd and very mysterious sadhanas, such as clapping our hands, many things that one can also cultivate without clapping their hands. So we should follow what Grandmaster has taught. There's a reason, because there's a reason behind it. In actual fact, when we gather, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are also aware that we are about to commence grouped cultivation. However, should a practitioner enter the tantric shrine secretly without permission and was not seen by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or when the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas did not notice a practitioner who is about to commence cultivation practice, then clapping would indicate both a wake-up call and start. So clapping at the end would indicate completion. Again, it has its own secret and significance in the sadhana. So before we start, we must always recite the purification mantra. This is to purify your body, speech, and mantra. We also have to recite the Earth Deity mantra, and this is to invite all Earth deities to protect and guard the practitioner during our cultivation practice. I'm sure everyone knows how to recite this mantra, which is Om Suli Suli Maha Suli Suli Soha, Om Sutoli Sutoli Sumoli Sumoli Soha, Om Vazaranta Ho Ho Hum, Namo Samanto Motonam, Om Turu Turu Dewe Soha. So the last mantra is to invite the Earth deity to protect us during our cultivation. So when reciting the purification mantra, is there a need to visualize? Is there a need to do visualization and form mudras? So in the Tantric Sadhana, visualization, mantra recitation, mudra formation are done together. They are known as the three gates. This is like an antidote to remove to remove any distractions. However, when one is reciting the purification mantra, there's no need to visualize or form mudras. Just reciting the mantra will do. And before entering the tantric shrine, one has fasted and taken a bath, which is the purification of the body. And having and brushing your teeth and rinse your mouth is the purification of one's speech. And having adjusted your mind and thoughts and leaving all worries or angers or distracting thoughts outside the shrine as the purification of your mind. So remember to first loosen up your body and mind. So the body and mind really relax, and when you enter the shrine, you have no more distracting thoughts, no anger. They've all been left behind. They've been left outside the shrine. So when one enters the shrine for cultivation practice, one is completely free from distraction and does not think of anything and has ease and have your body and mind completely relaxed. So very often we have a lot of distracting thoughts. So mantra recitation is also one way to counter distracting thoughts. So before you start, you should just purify yourself. So so for people to sit down completely without thinking and free of distracting thoughts, it's quite difficult. So you must find a way to counter this. So you have to use the righteous talk or the Buddha Dharma as an antidote. So reciting a mantra is one way to do so. Oh, so fast we're at Q&A number 2. So today is a shorter lesson.
好，
Thank you, Master Lianyi.
上司准备好了吗？
我讲问题3，请选出惊醒和遣
The question is select the wrong significance of the wake up and dismiss a call. A to indicate start of cultivation, B to indicate end of cultivation, C to indicate start of blessing.
错误的意义啊，选出错误的意义。
Remember, this is to select the wrong significance of the wake up and dismiss the call. The answer is C. Everyone has gotten, yeah, answer is C.
错误的意义。问题是，
So question 4, what is the real purpose of reciting the purification mantra? A, it is faster to recite a mantra. B, to purify your body, mind, speech. Or C, receive special blessings from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
Ah, 对了，答案是
Correct answer is B.
这个中文版的第1名就是子毅。
子毅啊，恭喜你，恭喜你。
So C is the winner in the Chinese channel.
印尼版的印尼文的这一个就是。
So for the Indonesian channel, we won Sorojoyo. Sorojoyo, Ban Sorojoyo from the Indonesian channel, who is in first place. We only have one person from the English channel. So let's do a summary. So the most important preparation before cultivation is to first purify the practitioner's body and mind. So we have completed our lesson for today. So today is actually the birthday of the Avalokiteshvara for the Asian areas. So we pray for the blessings of Avalokiteshvara to bless everyone who is online, to have a healthy body, and to have abundant wisdom. Thank you, everyone.
感恩莲意上师的祝福，也感谢上师如此精彩又震撼的
Thank you,
授
Master
让
Lianyi.
我们大家真的受益匪浅。
Thank you for your class. We have benefited a lot from the class.
有那么多的小故事，莲意上师的小故事有提
It's so
到
enjoyable to hear so many little stories from him.
等我
So
做
from his
念以
story,
前我就
he
会好
has
好的学习
mentioned that a lot of people think that
但
I
是
should start
无常
cultivating
无
only
等
when
待
I have
不如珍惜当下
when I have earned
想
enough.
要
But
做的就
unfortunately,
去
time
做
and tide wait for
提
no
醒
man.
自己 时间不多
Um,
了赶快修行吧
so we
上师
should
说
start
五
cultivating
次
as soon
看
as
到
possible.
希望才坚持4坚持才看到希望
So he also mentioned it's not because we want to see hope that we persevere, but it's because we persevere that we see hope. So now we are at the sharing segment. Would anyone like to volunteer, please? Otherwise, I'll be volunteering someone Did anyone put up their hands? How come no one is putting up their hands today? Or shall we shall we invite the winner from the Chinese channel, Dharma Brother Ziyi, to do a sharing? Are you there? He said it's not convenient for him to. He said it's not convenient for him to turn on his mic. Master Lianyi say, looks like you can't be, you cannot be a champion so easily. And Liang Chen said, luckily I'm 8 in line. I was on the 8th place. I think Ji Sheng mentioned that it's not convenient for him to turn on his video, so it is okay. Oh, he said because there's someone who's sleeping. And someone say we can ask the 8th winner to share. So Lao Zhong, Dharma Brother Lao Zhong, would you like to share? Where are you, Dharma Brother Lao Zhong? Oh, he didn't turn. Amitabha. Said I've spoken too much, so I'm really asking for trouble. I feel that this class, this lesson is pretty short today. So I read about do not what you should do before the purification methods before we practice. What we should do to purify our body, mind, and speech before we cultivate. So this is something that I learned, and also in terms of food, consume something clean and light. So this is something I like on.
接下来我们好不好请艺校助教呢？来自新加坡的艺校助教，因为我看到他刚才。
Oh, can we ask Dharma assistant Cindy to do a sharing? I see her scribbling. I saw her scribbling notes very hard during the lesson. Dharma assistant Cindy, could you please turn on your mic? Amitabha. Say, well, I've been volunteered. You say what my take back and what has really what I felt very deeply about is we have time, but we already don't have time. We have time, but yet we don't have time. And I feel that time is not sufficient. I feel that I wasted a lot of time last time, so I must really treasure it more. So can you hear me? So what he's trying to say is us to catch water. Oh, we have Senior Reverend Lianyi who will share. So first let's pay homage to the lineage guru, the Buddha Lianyi, to radiate light on all of us. Hello, everyone. Let me. I think we should share more to train more. So what I want to share is about a lot of people talk about having experiences during their cultivation practice. Often I receive a lot of examples. So a lot of people ask for a lot of empowerments in a lot of ask for empowerment. Why do we have this situation? So it's because today they said I will practice the Vajrasattva practice. Tomorrow I will practice Red Manohara practice. And then another day I will practice the 5-color Akala practice. And after a while, I have empowerment from the wish-fulfilling Padmakumara. So what does it show? Their cultivation is not focused. We have limited time, but we have spread out our time too much to the extent that it has become meaningless. But if we put our heart and mind on Vajrasattva practice, you will have pretty incredible experiences. So when we are doing group cultivation, we do it more for affinity, but when we cultivation, we should focus and focus on just one practice properly and faithfully. Another thing I will So I just want to share my main practice is usually very long. So I will usually rest a bit before I practice. Only then it will be better for me to practice in the afternoon. So if you keep yawning or very lethargic during your cultivation practice, you're not going to see results. But if you're at the cultivation venue, you're tired, what you can do, you try to calm down for about 10 minutes. Otherwise, don't spend your time chit-chatting. Don't waste those time, 5-10 minutes chit-chatting, talking about meaningless stuff. Spend the 5-10 minutes calming yourself down before you cultivate. So Master Lianyi shared a story about the two paintings. So it inspired me too. So the bird in the second painting was resting in the nest while amidst the harsh environment. So we must learn to be calm despite the any environment. Thank you, Senior Reverend Lianyi. I saw a counselor, Dharma assistant Xie who will be sharing. Please turn on your mic, please.
Hello，大家好。可能
Hello, everyone.
这个网络不稳定，如果不这样，我就这堂课最触动我的地方呢。
What touched me most about this class is about being determined to persevere. So from my own experience, I have taken refuge only 8 years. So I have faced a lot of obstacles during these 8 years. I have to keep adjusting my cultivation mindset. I have to continue to purify myself by participating in Grandmaster's Dharma ceremonies. But if you have the resource, you should participate in person. But if you can't, you should still try your best to do so. I have not seen Grandmaster for 4 months, and I'm trying to travel to Seattle next month. So I'm going to go to Seattle to ask for a Grandmaster blessing. So I just want to show you about my perseverance, the topic of perseverance. Thank you.
好，感恩雪梅助教的坚持，跟林追教授是一样，也是要坚持修一个法。接下来呢，我们要请我们辅导员里面最棒的一才讲师来为我们。
We would like to now invite our Dharma instructor, Yi Chai, to share. So you talk about the best, I almost wanted to return the mic to you. So I agree with what Master Lianyi, Senior Reverend Lianyi has said. So I was like what he has said. I've taken a lot of empowerments and did too many different cultivation practices. But ever since the True Buddha Online University has come up with this advancement homework, I have been very focused and clearly set out the targets for my homework. I have completed the homework that I have set on a daily basis. So this activity, the advancement homework activity, has actually helped me to be more disciplined and to have a clearer target of where I want to reach. So for those of you who have not joined the advancement homework activity, please do join now. And every month we'll actually send the list of people who have participated in the advancement homework to for blessings. Thank you, Dharma Instructor. Yitai. So we've actually 4 WhatsApp group for this. Sorry, we have 4 messaging group for this advancement homework, and a lot of masters are actually on the messaging groups and join us for the advancement homework. Not only masters, there's also senior reverends who have joined the messaging group for this advancement homework. If you've forgotten how to join this messaging groups, please PM me. So can we have one final person to share your experience, please? So if Dharma's brother Wan Liang, who will share now. So I'm grateful to Master Lianyi for delivering the lesson. For this class, I feel that I benefited a lot. First and foremost, the stories that Master Lianyi has shared, the meanings are very profound. There was a story about the Zen meditation master about breaking the pot of orchids. And then from the story, he was able to inspire the disciples. It's not so much of, and instead of finding problem, is to solve your problems. Another one would be we talk about the one important point about spiritual union. That would be you need to have bodhicitta and not to have attachments. So what struck me most was in cultivation, bodhicitta is very important. Thank you, Dharma brother Wang Liang. So for me, I've also taken quite a bit of notes. So especially, are you at the cultivation venue because you want to be angry? So cultivating is to learning to accommodate one another. Do you feel that the moment Master Lianyi share a story, everyone suddenly wakes up? So second, Master Lianyi. So now is a Q&A session. Please put your questions in the chat box in case we are not don't have sufficient time to answer them. For clapping your hands, is it only restricted to your wake up and dismissal? at the beginning and end of the session, but I see people who entered the Strive. They clap their hands too. Can they do that? Yes, you can do that. It's definitely okay to be courteous, to greet the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So it's true that when before we do the great homage, we will always we will always clap our hands first. So today everyone is very well behaved. You don't have a lot of questions today. And thank you everyone for your questions, and thank you to Master Lianyi for answering. I will be entering into lesson 2, which is how to evoke the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. This is the end of our session for today. Let's invite Master Lianyi to say goodbye to everyone. I would like to first thank Living Buddha Lianshen, our Living Buddha Lianshen for blessing the class, and Chairman Master Chu, Master Lian He, Master Lian Jia, and Master Lian Fei. And grateful to all masters, senior reverends, Dharma instructor, Dharma assistant, all fellow disciples. Auspicious Tasha Dili for everyone, and may Avalokiteshvara bless everyone to achieve attainment. Thank you very much. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you everyone that's on Zoom. Thank you everyone. Goodbye. See you next week. See you next week.
我们最要谢谢的是今天的翻译员，印尼翻译员是我们的。
Thank you to our translator from both channels, DA Icha and DI Meili. Bye bye. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Thank you to the Master of Compare, DA Meia. Goodbye everyone.
谢谢联合上师，阿弥陀佛，感恩，拜拜。大家记得我们这个星期的师尊的法会已经把时间调早1个小时啦。我们亚洲时间是星期一早上6点，不是7点哦，要提早1个小时起来哈。你们就把你们的时间全部调早1个小时，好吗？好的，那我们下个星期见，拜拜。